We should hear from the correct knowledgeable source and practice it to control the mind. Okay, our intelligence should control our mind and senses. Okay, what else? Control the mind, or control the mind is a topic. Anything else? Any anything? Any points that you remember from the last class? Okay, our body as a chariot example. Okay, mind is subtle than ether, very powerful, flickering. Agreed. Read Bhagavad Gita regularly to keep the intelligence strong. Okay, nice. Mhm. Okay, let's discuss. I'll try to do a recap and then we'll start with today's session. Let's chant some prayers. Please repeat after me. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्. Okay, we're discussing Bhagavad Gita and we dedicate our presentation to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder, Acharya of ISKCON. Today, if we are discussing this topic of mind, the topic of difference between the mind, intelligence, ego, soul, body, etc., is because of this personality. If Prabhupada wouldn't have been there, we'd have never understood what is subtle body, what is gross body. Now, when students for Gita course, when they learn this, they are really amazed. Oh, we have a subtle body also. Oh, mind is here, intelligence is here. Such a precise data, such a precise information is given in our Vedic scriptures. But these informations, realizations, and all the data that we're going through, all that was locked and hidden in Sanskrit language. It was only because of Srila Prabhupada, who translated the Sanskrit verses of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the Bengali verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and so many others, that now we have it very, very accessible in our understandable languages, especially English, all over the world. So this is a very nice thing to understand, that now we have to be very, very grateful to Srila Prabhupada. Because if Prabhupada wouldn't have been there, at least for us who are connected to ISKCON, it will be very, very difficult to imagine also what would have happened to us. Today afternoon, also in one of the house programs, I was talking about this, that Jadi Prabhupada na hoito, tabe ki hoito, jiva na bahi pakishe. If Prabhupada wouldn't have been there, what would have happened to all of us? And when we are grateful to the Acharya, when we are grateful to the spiritual master, when we have the gratitude in the heart, we will progress in this path of bhakti. Why? Because that gratitude softens our heart. And it's almost like heart is like a field. And when proper nourishment is given to the field through water and manure and all that, it becomes soft and it's ready for what? For growing wonderful crops. So when we have gratitude in our heart, so that gratitude softens our heart, and then the bhakti lata beej that is sown in our heart, the bhakti bija that is sown, that will actually grow very nicely. So whenever we are learning, any concept from Bhagavad Gita, by by the explanations given by Srila Prabhupada. We should be very, very grateful and thank him from the core of our heart. Every time, when we come to these sessions, when we are reading Bhagavad Gita or doing any activity which is related to Bhagavad Gita, translated by Srila Prabhupada. So we're discussing, noise, audio, little loud. This is what I was asking. How about now? Is it okay? Is that okay now? Is it okay? Much better. Okay. ठीक है. So I just changed the microphone. Okay. So till now whatever I spoke is gone. Anyways, I spoke to myself, so it's okay. Okay, let's revise. Let's go back to previous session and see what all we saw. Just a rapid fire. So I'll just go through each and every slide of last session and try to summarize whatever we saw. So now this is the most powerful element. The mind is the most powerful element. So we saw that how we have earth, water, fire, air, ether. So from earth to ether, the things becomes more subtler and subtler. So from gross to subtle we are going. But then we understood that mind is more subtler than the ether also. So in this way, we understood that how mind is so subtle. And now, here in this particular slide, we understood very clearly that the one who controls the mind is a friend, best of friends, and the one who cannot, the mind is worst of the enemy. So by the way, this particular shloka talks about us. And then we also saw that how we are conditioned. This conditioned thing, I would like to share something. So I was traveling for a program, from our center, ISKCON Whitefield, to another place. So I was there in the car, and then just I saw outside the window, and there was a shop, and there's a cloth shop. So that was bridal shop, where all the bridal dresses were put. Very beautiful dresses were put, like we dress our Radha and Krishna deities. So I was looking. So it was very funny that there was a maroon color, whatever cloth that is, the gopi dress that is there. And then there was a mask of the same color, the same embroidered design. So I was just thinking how conditioned people are. Whichever situation people are put into, they will get conditioned to that situation. Very nicely conditioned to that situation. Yes. So now this mask conditioning is there. So people want to have matching mask, whatever they wear. So it has to be matching. It doesn't matter what is there on the face, but mask should be very proper. See, this is how we are conditioned. In fact, sometimes when people say going to different place, I don't know how will I survive and this and that. The only thing that I tell is just spend some time there. You'll become conditioned to that place. And for us, our mind has become conditioned from many lifetimes. So this concept of condition is very clear for all of us. So we discussed about this, that how our mind becomes conditioned, and when we go for shopping or whatever, it becomes very difficult. It becomes very difficult, and the mind cries like a small child. I'll not display the video again. Our mind is like a child only. Arjuna, when he wanted to confess to Krishna, it's very difficult. I'm not able to control the mind. He quoted this shloka. Chanchalam himana Krishna pramati balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayor eva sudushkaram. Chanchalam. My mind is chanchalam. Chanchalam means what? It's flickering. Chanchalam. Himana Krishna pramati balavad dridam. No, it is disturbing all the time. It is very strong. It is obstinate. In Hindi you call it ziddi. So like a small child, once it says I want this, means I want this, the mind is like that. Mind is like that. And just imagine the mind is conditioned, and now the mind wants that particular thing to be fulfilled. He wants it means he wants it. Doesn't matter what it is. But then here, we had a very nice question that was posted. What does his mind wants? What does the stupid mind wants? Happiness. But the problem is, it does not know where to get happiness from. We are also looking for happiness only. Our mind is also looking for happiness. But the problem is, it does not know where to get it from. And the mind picks up from everywhere. Some people have set an example that how through exploitation we can be happy, through accumulation we can be happy. Some have told us that, you supply the needs of the senses, you'll be happy. have a nice sexual relation with the opposite gender, he'll be happy. So mind is picking up, from so many places, so many places. In fact, I'm sure all the ones who are watching movies before and whatever. So have you seen that as soon as a person sees the hairstyle of a hero, the dressing style of a hero, and if they're so used to and conditioned for that, they immediately start imitating that particular thing. So whatever the Bollywood stars, Hollywood stars, or Tollywood stars, they keep changing their attire and hairstyle or whatever. We'll see common public also doing that. Why? The mind is picking up from here and there. If I do this particular thing, I'll be happy. If I do that particular thing, I'll be happy. So in this way, what's happening? Our mind is like a very small child. A small child. So you might have seen in front of the child, you speak something, for a good amount of time, same thing, repeat. The child will also repeat. In fact, sometimes unknowingly, they will repeat. And sometimes it is abominable also. They have seen something on the TV and they start repeating that. And suppose they have seen something obnoxious on the TV, and unfortunately, now the kids don't know, they just heard and they just repeat. Exactly, this is the situation of our mind. Our mind is like a small child, simple. Mind is like a small child and it is acting crazily. In Shastra, there is another analogy that is given, how the mind is. I hope everyone knows how the monkey is. So monkey jumps from one branch to another to another. So it's very restless. Now, to that monkey you feed alcohol. Now just imagine how crazy it will become. Just jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping. And now another thing is told here. Now just imagine, to that monkey a scorpion has bit. Now tell me how this monkey would behave. Just imagine. Now just imagine this is just imagine. This is how our mind is. Restless. Restless. Completely restless. Why? Because of various things that it has picked up from various different places. Even when people come to our Gita course sessions, it's very difficult for them to understand only what is spoken. They'll have their own opinions and they'll say, according to me, this is the thing. According to me, this is the thing. My opinion, I feel. Where is that feel, opinion, and all that is coming from? From the mind. And where has the mind picked up from? From various different places. Which are the different places? TV serials, movies, and this and that, all crap. And then people start arguing, no, I saw this like this only, I saw that. Read the scriptures first and then speak. Yes. I know freedom of speech is given to everyone in this country, but that doesn't mean that we'll speak anything and everything that we feel. Why? Because that feel is coming from the mind and mind is disturbed. And where has the mind picked up from? From all the places around. Simple. Simple. So if it has picked up from this mortal world, how can it give its opinion about the transcendental subject matter? See, to understand the concept of mind, we just need to have some brain substance. That's it. We'll be able to understand how the mind works. And in fact, in our day-to-day life, now when we are learning this, this concept of mind, in our day-to-day life, when our mind tricks with spiritual practice, we'll actually understand, no, this is mind which is telling. This is not me, this is my mind which is telling. Let me not believe in it. Actually, that stage will come. So in this way, we understand that mind is just picking up from here and there. Very, very unfortunately, it is picking up from here and there. And it has set wrong goals. Always it has set wrong goals. Today, one of my very dear student was taking me in his car to another place. So he was making a nice point. He said that many times people, if we do anything, if we do this particular thing, people will comment. So what should we do, Prabhuji? This was the question. So now one thing which I was telling is, see, people are going to talk. You do anything and everything, people are going to talk. Today you put tilak, they will talk. You don't put, they will talk. You eat something, they will talk. If you don't eat something, they'll talk. You wear something, they'll talk. You don't wear something, they'll talk. So people will talk. I was telling a story. So there was a man and his son. So they were walking with a donkey. Hear this carefully. This is exactly how people are. Man and his son were walking with a donkey on the road, and people started laughing. And look at these people. Dumb people they are. Donkey is there, still they are walking. Why aren't they sitting on the donkey? So the father, he overheard when people were speaking. Then he sat on the donkey. The father sat on the donkey, son is still walking. Then they were walking. And then few people again, they started talking. They said, "Arey, look at this father. How cruel he is. The son is walking and he's sitting on the donkey. What sort of father he is?" So the father got down, he heard. Then father got down, he put the son on the donkey and they were walking. And after that, again people started talking. They started saying, "Arey, look at this son. How arrogant he is. His father is walking. He's so disrespectful. He's sitting on the donkey." Now father overheard this. He also sat on the donkey. So now father and the son, both of them are on the donkey. Now people started again talking and laughing and just this blaspheming, saying, "Look at these two. They don't understand that what this Mukha Prani will be going through. Look at them, how they're torturing the donkey." Then finally, the father got frustrated. He took a rod. And then he tied the front legs and the hind legs, to the rod. And the father carried one side and the son carried from behind. So the point that I'm trying, again someone is saying, be loud. It's not good enough for everyone. Hare Krishna. Please reply. It's clear for us. Okay. Okay. So in this way we see that when it comes to people around, they are going to talk something, but we cannot pick up from that. No, we cannot pick up from that. We have to understand what is the absolute thing, and that absolute thing comes in Shastra. So when we read Bhagavad-Gita, when we read Vedic scriptures, like especially Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens? We'll get a clear perspective about life. Till now, the perspective of life we have got is from movies, from TV series, from newspapers, from novels and all that, and most of it is a fiction. But absolute thing about life, that is not given. Like in the movie, they show the girl and boy, they have a lot of romance and they get married, and then it is written, happily married ever after. Now many of the married couple, they have told that, "Bro, actually life begins after this." Till now it was all time pass. After the marriage, actually the life begins, serious life begins. There's so many things are portrayed. So mind has already picked all that kachara. It's contaminated now. So too, we need to have a clear understanding of what is life. And we have to erase that samskar which is there on the mind now, which we have picked up from various places. And we have to rebuild or rewrite on the slate of mind. So in this way, we understand that mind has picked up from various different places. So this is what I think we covered the last session. Okay, we had some shlokas and we had the practical tip. Okay, let's start with today's session. Okay, till now it was just a prerequisite. Okay, so let's start the part 2. So what all things we wanted to know, I think I have told that from the last session. Now see, this one point has to be understood very clearly. Somehow the mind has become the master. See, what is the state of the mind? Now we need to understand at which level the mind is in our body. We need to understand that. So this is the shloka. Please repeat after me. Indriyani paranyahor Indriyebhyah param manah Manasastu parabuddhir Yo buddhehe parastata. Okay. Paratastu saha. So here there's a comparison that is given. So in the body we have senses. There are 5 knowledge acquiring senses, which we all know. What are those? Eyes, nose, tongue, ears, skin. So we have these 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Now it is said that these 5 senses are dull. Why it is dull? Because if the soul is there in the body, these senses are active. If the soul goes out, these senses are not active. It's like, you take a car and it's a remote controlled battery car. Now that car, suppose you don't put the battery, it will not move. You put the battery, it will move. Similarly, when the soul is there, the body is working, the senses are working. The soul goes out of the body, the senses are not working. So this body is always dead. This body that is there is always dead. Like that remote control car that is there, it's always not working. Only when you put the battery, it will start working. Only when the soul comes in the body starts working. So these senses are dull matter, dead. So above the senses is mind. Now mind is subtle. And mind is supposed to be the Raja, the king of all the senses, the master of all the senses. Now, above the mind, we have intelligence. So intelligence, when it is sharpened, so actually it controls the mind. Now, above the intelligence is we, that is spirit soul. So we have at the first rung, we have the dull matter, senses. At the second place, what do we have? The senses we have, and above that, we have mind. Above mind, we have intelligence. Above intelligence, we have soul. Now, ideally, who should control whom? Let's try to understand. The soul controls the intelligence. Intelligence controls the mind. Mind controls the senses. Now, what has happened? Now, the mind which is there in between, the mind is controlling the intelligence, and by which it is controlling the soul also. So, we are actually under the control of our mind. Simple. Very simple. So now, this is the thing. Somehow this mind, which is supposed to be the servant of the soul and intelligence, it has become the master of the soul and intelligence. Now, this is, see, what happens when we analyze like this. And the Bhagavad-Gita is glorious. See how amazing, precise, and technical Bhagavad-Gita is. It is a life manual. Come on, it's a life manual. The ones who don't read, they'll never understand the glory of Bhagavad-Gita. Never. When we go through these things like this, then we'll understand, oh, okay, there are some things like this happening in my body. Oh, okay, so now I'm controlled by the mind. Sometimes people feel that, oh, they are very much controlled, sense controlled, self-controlled, mind controlled, and they are the ones who do so many obnoxious activities. So here, in this particular shloka, Krishna has made it very clear that mind is lower than intelligence and soul, and now we are understanding that the mind is controlling our intelligence and us. And this is very clear from so what is the position of false ego? It's always above intelligence. It is subtler. Now see this one, this particular thing, I think last time also we might have discussed, that is the chariot example. So this comes from Katha Upanishad. So this is the chariot. Now you see these 5 horses which is there. So these 5 horses represents our senses. Now these senses, as I said, now let's go back to that shloka. Okay, remember this. Now look at this chariot. So I'll tell you the important things, just remember that. I'll remove the slide now. So 5 horses, they represent the senses. Now the rope that is tied from the horses, so that rope, these reins which are there, so they are what? That is the mind. And the person who is holding the rope or the reins is the intelligence. And the person who is sitting in the chariot is the soul. So this entire chariot represents the body, and we are the spirit soul sitting in this body. I hope it's clear. 5 horses are senses, the rope is the mind, the person holding the rope is intelligence, and the person sitting in the chariot is we, the spirit soul, and the entire chariot itself is our body. Now let's discuss this particular example. Now, so the mind is controlling the senses, and that's how this sequence is, right? The mind, so senses, mind, intelligence, false ego. Now it's very natural that mind will control the senses. That's what is happening. So 5 horses are there and they're controlled by the mind. Now, the mind, that is the rope, is in the hands of intelligence. So ideally what should happen? The intelligence should control the mind. It should hold tightly and should control. So that is the person who is holding those ropes. The driver, the chariot driver, is intelligence. Now, The person sitting in the chariot, he can actually give the instruction, you do this. Maybe it can tell the intelligence, do like this, do like that. So he can do that. Now, in the entire scenario, what has happened? The mind has become the master. How? Let's try to understand. So the intelligence, the one who's holding the rope, is weak. Now, suppose I'm a person who is holding that rope as a chariot driver, and say I'm weak. I'm very tired, and I'm feeling very weak. I'll not be able to hold that rope very tightly. Now, when I just loosen it, it's not tight. What will happen? The rope will be on its own. And this is the situation of mind. Now, the ropes are on its own. Now, the mind is on its own. And all the horses are going hither and thither. And who is suffering? The soul who is sitting in the chariot is suffering. So, in this way, we see the uncontrolled mind troubles us like anything. In fact, most of the times, we are not doing what we are doing. It's the mind which is doing, and then we have to face the repercussions of the same. So this is what this chariot example, makes it very clear that somehow, because of this mind, somehow this mind is actually controlling the entire chariot now. It is controlling the intelligence, it's controlling the soul, it's controlling the entire chariot, that is this entire body. Now let's try to understand now various other important points, which are very relevant here. Now, the mind, what it does, it starts dictating. It starts dictating, and intelligence will make plans to get it. We'll see, now mind has become the master. So the mind will start dictating to the intelligence what the intelligence is supposed to do. So like for example, so parents. Now parents are, say, they are very much in love with their only child. Now the child is not well, and the child is crying, I want ice cream, and the parents, they have no option. They'll try somehow to control the child, but the child, when it goes out of control, then they'll go and get it and give. So what's happened here? The child is supposed to be under the control of parents, but somehow the parents have come under the control of child. So the mind is supposed to be controlled by the intelligence, but somehow the intelligence has come under the control of the mind. So now whatever the mind says, intelligence will do. Doesn't matter it is right or wrong, because the intelligence is not sharp, it's weak. It does not know what is right, what is wrong. So mind will say, I like this, I like that, and the intelligence will execute it. Simple, I'll tell you a simple example now. Tell me, how many of you, okay, I'm sure everyone will keep an alarm. So how many of you keep more than one alarm in the morning? Say you want to get up at 6. You want to get up at 6 and you start keeping 5:30, 5:45 and 6. How many of you do that? Oh, 3 alarms, okay. Okay, Richa Mataji does. No, but I snooze too many times. Oh, very nice. Honest. After every 5 minutes. 3 to 4 alarm. Yes, we do. 2 to 3. 2. Now you see, okay, and who all snooze the alarm? Say, you're keeping and then you keep snoozing it. Okay, so many hands are coming up. No alarm. Jai. 1 snooze. Me too. See, now let me now you'll be able to connect with what I'm saying. Now, everyone likes to sleep. Everyone likes to sleep, especially early in the morning. That time is a time of asuras, demonic time, that is, where a lot of negative energies are around. So especially this Brahma Muhurta time that is there from around 3:40, 3:45 in the morning till the sunrise, which is around 6:10 or something like that in India, 6:30 or 6:15, whatever. So this is the time of Brahma Muhurta. So this Brahma Muhurta is very auspicious for spiritual practices. But then there are a lot of negative energies which are trying to escape, during this time. So all those who sleep in this, this time, the negative energies escape in their consciousness. Anyways, that's a different topic altogether. But why I'm saying this, because at that time, there's so much of ignorance that we want to sleep. Everyone wants to sleep in that time. It's like so much of sleep people will get. during that time from 3:40 to 6:30. And deep sleep, that too. Deep sleep, proper ignorance is there. Now, everyone likes to sleep. When I say everyone means what? Everyone's mind likes to sleep. Because that everyone's mind tells to sleep. So mind, it likes to sleep. I mean, it likes the person when the person is sleeping. So mind tells, "Arey, sleep, it's okay." So we have put an alarm is ringing, the mind is saying, "Sleep, it's okay." And then we snooze. Now say you have an important meeting, or see you have some important work, not a meeting, say important work, you have to finish that at so and so time, and depending on that you have scheduled it. You have scheduled your wake up time, so you're waking up that time. So you're like, okay, I'll get up at 6 o'clock, I'll do this, and 8 o'clock I'll finish this job. But now when you snooze the alarm, so what's happening? So mind has told sleep, we snooze the alarm, and now the intelligence that is there will start planning. The intelligence will start planning. Okay, so maybe I can wake up at say 6:30 instead of 6. Now if I do that, then I'll shift this, then I'll shift that, and instead of 8 it will become 8:15 or whatever, and making all this plan, the person sleeps. Can you imagine so much of chaos is there in ourselves when we snooze one alarm? So this point is very important. Whenever we are snoozing our alarm, it means we are just giving up. We are just telling the mind, "I give up. I give up." Yes. So at that time, the intelligence starts planning various things. I'm sure all of us might have experienced this. So this is how the mind works. This is how the mind works, wherein it has taken over, and intelligence starts planning to facilitate the desires of the mind. Whatever the mind likes, it wants to execute. Simple. Now let's try to understand various other important points. By the way, I think I should mention about this also. Chanting. I'll tell you a scenario and you tell me if your mind does this with you. Now you have decided that early morning I'll start chanting. And then I'm sure in the initial stage, at least the mind is like crazy. Early morning, you've decided that you'll chant, and then you're not able to get up, and you've got up at some time. Now you're looking at the beads, and there's an internal voice which says, "Finish this job and do it later." Okay, see, now you decided some time, that is gone. Now finish this job and then you can chant. And then after that, again, after finishing the job, you look at the beads, and again the mind says, "After this job you do, after this job." Finally it's night. Finally it's night, and the mind says, "See, it's night." And that Gita course instructor, he said early morning chanting is good. Tomorrow, pakka early morning you start chanting. Wake up early and then start chanting. Today, sleep. How many of us at least once have experienced this? The trick of mind. How many of us have felt this? Oh, every day. Yes, I'm sure many of us. This is exactly the mind's trick. Exactly. See here, we need to understand the mind doesn't like these activities. It doesn't like. Why? Because this chanting, reading of Shastra and all these things, this will actually liberate us. Liberate means what? We'll get rid of the mind. So mind will never want this thing to happen. So how to make sure that our intelligence becomes strong, this we need to understand. We have to read scripture. See, now when you're attending this session, you're able to connect with what I'm speaking. And I am speaking from Bhagavad-Gita. I'm giving example which is connecting to these verses of Bhagavad-Gita that we have discussed. So now you're able to connect. Now next time when your mind tricks, at least theoretically you'll have the information that I'm getting tricked. Maybe you're not able to control the mind, but at least you'll know, okay, I'm getting tricked. At least this alarm will start ringing. So this point is very important, that when we read Shastra, especially Bhagavad-Gita, very properly, we imbibe the teachings, we try to apply that. We start chanting the holy names very nicely every day. What happens is our intelligence will become sharp. Now why the mind has taken over? Because that intelligence left the rope. No. What if that intelligence holds the rope tightly? Then the mind cannot do much. What is the tight thing that I'm talking about? The tight thing means the intelligence understands what is right and what is wrong. This is what is very, very important. As of now, the right and wrong that we have learned in our life is from various things around us. Absolute right, absolute wrong, we have not understood. Why? Because Shastras talk about that and we have not read it. We have not read that. So this is a very important thing to note. Till the point we don't read the life manual, we'll never understand what is right, what is wrong. We'll just think this is right, this is wrong, and lead our life. And our mind will keep tricking. So when we read Shastra, we are clear what is right, what is wrong. It means our intelligence is sharp. And whenever the mind says do this, the intelligence will understand it is, if it is wrong, it will say, no, it is wrong. I will not. I will not. Yes. This in the diabetic patients, we can see this. I always give this example. Sugar level is very high, but the person likes sweets so much, so much. Oh, before that, let me display how. Now, what is the principle on which the mind works? Then I'll give this example. So this is how the mind functions. This is how the mind functions. Likes and dislikes. Yes. So now let me tell you. Let me continue the analogy that I was giving. The mind says. So the diabetic patient with high sugar level. Now he has gone for a marriage ceremony. Dinner time. So many dishes are there. And towards the end, desserts. Gulab jamun, ice cream. I hope we have eaten gulab jamun plus ice cream. It tastes very nice. So gulab jamun, ice cream, and so many other things are there, one after another. And now this person with his plate, is going and then finally comes there. Now there is a war that starts. He likes sweets, especially gulab jamun is kept there, and he's seeing. By the way, in ISKCON, we call gulab jamun as ISKCON bullets. Prabhupada would prepare this and keep at the door, and people would take and pop in their mouth and come inside, something like that. Now, this person is seeing, now see the war that is happening. I'm sure you all will be able to resonate. Not just this situation, any situation you take in your life where you had a war within. Now, see what's happening. The person is looking at the gulab jamun. The mind says, go for it, you like it. Go for it, you like it, you have enjoyed. Just imagine that gulab jamun brownish, just removed from the sugar syrup, so fluffy, and then you put it in the mouth and it's like amazing. And he's going to take it. He's putting his hand. He's going ahead to take it. And then the intelligence says, no. Doctor has said no. And the hand goes down. Again, the mind just go, take it. And doctor has said, no, sugar level high, mar jayega, khayega to. So this is the war that happens. If the mind is stronger than the intelligence, he will go pop it and then suffer. But if his intelligence is stronger, he'll be able to withstand. So the intelligence becomes stronger. Someone here is asking this question. Someone is asking this question that how to feed the intelligence. Yes. See, when we do spiritual practice, our intelligence will become strong. When we read Shastra, our intelligence becomes sharp and strong. At that time, we can differentiate. We can do that. We can control. Or else it's not easy. It's not easy. Mind will always take over. This is a very important point that we need to note. Now you see, in the social media, this what button we have? Two buttons, like, dislike. Yes. Why we don't have correct and incorrect button? We could have had, see, just imagine how the entire industry works. When you read Bhagavad-Gita, entire world you can nicely analyze. Just try to analyze this now. In the social media or any of that, which is very famous now. So why do we have likes and dislike button? Why don't we have correct and incorrect button? We could have had correct, incorrect. Nice. So what's happening in this industry is they're trying to give a lot of importance to our opinions. So our opinions are given so much of importance that okay, you can like, oh, you like it, prove it. You tell that you like this, and then you have a like button. Oh, you don't like this, okay, press the dislike button. So in this way, we see that our opinions are given so much of importance. Now, before, in Gurukul system in the Vedic times, the Guru will tell and the disciple will execute. And since the Guru is well educated in Shastra, his instructions will be very valid, and the disciple, when he follows, he will be benefited for sure. Now what is happening? Even when we read Shastra, Even when we hear a discourse on Vedic scriptures, we are like, according to my opinion, this is not proper, whatever the speaker said. I feel, no, there's too much. He's too judgmental. How can he speak about this? How can he speak about that? Or whatever. So it's a very important point to note that somehow, unfortunately, our opinions have been given more importance. And various names are there, freedom of speech and freedom of expression or whatever you call it as. Because of all that, now for us to accept the right thing has become so difficult. It's very difficult, especially the educated ones, like all of us, so-called educated. Why so-called? Because we just have material stuff in our mind or in our head. We don't have any, good spiritual stuff. We might be engineers, B.Tech, M.Tech, PhD, whatever we are. It's all the material stuff that is put in. And we feel we are something. And I can give my opinion, I am something, I'm great or whatever. But one thing is very clear, our mind is just tricking. Our mind says what we like, what we don't like. So in this way, we see that in this, it was just a tangent that I've taken. So in this way, we see that how in this Kali Yuga, instead of correct and incorrect, the likes and dislikes are given more importance. And then that importance is just like, oh, your likes are more important, your opinions are more important. Yes, prove it. You like it, press this button. Now press this button if you don't like it or whatever. So we have to be, as students of Gita, we have to understand when we are learning Gita, we have to be very careful that our likes and dislikes shouldn't come there. Many times I've met people, so they say that this part of Gita is nice, this part I don't like. See, your likes and dislikes does not matter. What matters is, what is Bhagavad-Gita saying, and I'm supposed to apply everything that is given. It's not that, okay, this part is nice, that part is nice. I'm sure you might have learned in your childhood the story where a hen would be given a golden egg, and the caretaker, he felt, oh, this front part I have to feed, and it's very, investment for fun part. Back part is very nice. It is, very much profitable. So what I'll do is, I'll cut the front part of the hen and then I'll keep the back part. So, and the front part is taken out and the back part is taken out and the murgi dies, the hen dies, no eggs. This is called as Ardha Kukuta Nyay. In Sanskrit, it is called as Ardha Kukuta Nyay. So in this, what's happening? I'll take a part of it because I like it. But this I don't like, so I'll not take. So these likes and dislikes, which are unfortunately given a lot of importance in this Kali Yuga, should be kept aside when we are reading Shastra. If these likes and dislikes also come into picture, then no one can save us. It's very difficult, very difficult. So in this way, this point has to be this point has to be very clear, to all of us, that when we are learning, our opinions will become a big obstacle. We should keep our opinions aside and then learn what is the truth, what is absolute. Our likes, our dislikes, our opinions, we have to understand it's coming from the culprit mind. And where is the mind picking up these likes and dislikes and opinions and various other things? It's picking up from everywhere around. And everywhere around, it's mortal. It's all mortal things around. It's material. So from material impressions, how can I think about something? How can I comment or think of commenting on a transcendental subject matter like Bhagavad-Gita or anything related to that? Simple. See, I'm speaking logic. I'm not speaking any sentimental stuff here. So in this way, the mind works. And these impressions of the mind comes lifetime after. It comes from different lifetimes also. Have you seen? Right from childhood, some kids will be like, I don't like this at all. I think you're still a kid. What world have you seen? Suddenly, how are you saying that I don't like this? It comes from the past life. It comes from the past life. Those impressions are still there on the mind. So from past life, I like this, I don't like this, it's there. It's there. So now are we understanding how our likes and dislikes are programmed in the mind? And mind works on this principle of likes and dislikes. And intelligence will work on the principle of correct and incorrect. If the intelligence is weak and the mind is strong, mind will take over. And if the intelligence is strong, then the intelligence will correct the mind whenever it says that I like this and that thing is not proper. Then the intelligence will say, no, it is incorrect. Don't do this. This is what happens with a spiritualist. when we are practicing bhakti very nicely, when we do mantra meditation very attentively, and when we are reading Shastra very nicely, we'll be able to differentiate between right and wrong. Then our likes and dislikes will not be given much importance there. So this is a very, very important point that we have to note when it comes to how the mind and how the intelligence works. Now let's go ahead and try to understand few more things which are very important, because now we are entering into a deep topic of mind control. So let's try to understand this more clearly. Okay, so now see here, it's a point that is given that the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by this eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. Now the mind, the desire and all that, no, it comes in the mind. And whenever we have the desire of sense gratification, it is basically lust. So lust doesn't just mean some sexual desire. Anything that we have, any desire that we have for enjoyment, anything related to any senses, that is called as lust. Now this lust covers the living entity's consciousness. And now you see, the desire that the mind puts forward, it will never get satisfied. Now, it's an obvious thing, but still I'm asking. Now, how many of us have desired for something and you have got it? And again, you don't get satisfaction. Again, you desire for something else. You got that also. Again, you desire for something else. How many of you have done this? Obvious, no? Yes. See, by the way, I keep asking questions just to make sure that you all are there with me, or else you'll be there having snacks and, oh, very nice point, Prabhuji. Good. Yes. See, so this is the thing, that our desires will never be fulfilled because our mind, the desires are coming from there. So when those desires which are coming from the mind, so they want for sense gratification, and then when we have one desire, we get fulfilled, and then another one and another one and another one, it will never end. I'll tell now what happened in my family. So now, in my childhood, we were in Mumbai, and we were living in a very small house. So my parents, had this desire that we should have a big house. No, not a big house. At that time, I was staying in a rent. So they were like, we should buy this house, something similar. And then after some time, they started thinking, no, I think we should change the house and maybe we'll go to 1 BHK. And then they thought, okay, let us buy a 1 BHK flat. And they bought that. And we shifted to our own house. And then we were there in 1 BHK. And after that, again, there was a desire that, okay, 1 BHK is looking, it's pretty small. Let's go for 2 BHK. And now currently they're staying in 2 BHK, and now the thought is about taking a 3 BHK flat, and there are plans for villa also. This is how our desires will go on and on and on. It's very difficult, because if we say that if this desire get fulfilled, I'll be satisfied, I'll be peaceful. No, it will never happen. Never. See, this point has to be noted. Even while doing spiritual practice, this mind will trick. You know what the mind will say? See, currently you have got this task with you. Just finish this task. Just finish off this. Then, you'll have a lot of time. You'll be peaceful because this task is finished, right? You'll be peaceful. And then you'll be able to chant nicely. You'll be able to attend the Gita course nicely. You'll be able to do this nicely, that nicely. You'll have a lot of time, etc., etc., etc. And at that time, what do? Our chanting, our sessions, Bhagavad-Gita reading, etc. becomes side. It becomes secondary. And some desire becomes primary now. Now that desire is fulfilled. After that, what? After that, again, something else comes up. And then the mind says, finish off this. Later we'll do. In this way, our mind keeps tricking. And it becomes very difficult for us to practice devotional service. Yes. I don't know here if I've discussed about, I think last Gita course I discussed about the article that I'd written. So I'd written an article, May Merry Chanting or Woe. And that woe was mind. So there was some realization which I had got. So I came to Krishna consciousness in the first year of engineering. And then what happened is I was not very serious. And I finished the 4 years of engineering, and then I became a faculty in the same college. So, and then I was teaching the final year students, one of the subjects in electronics. So I entered the same classroom where I used to sit. So you can imagine it's like I passed out and immediately I joined as a faculty. So I went to that classroom where I used to sit. And then one day when I was teaching, so at that time I was looking at the students, and then I looked at a particular bench where I used to sit. And that day there was a deep thought process that started. So what used to happen is, I used to, whatever semester and all that would be there. So the mind would say, see, Kartikeya, finish this exam. This particular internal is there, finish that, this lab exams, finish it, and then you seriously take up chanting. Like, okay. And then final exam, okay, finish the semester, and then you can take up. So like this, semester after semester after semester, my mind tricked me like anything, and I just postponed to become serious in bhakti. And then finally on this day, when I was a faculty now after 4 years, it was really a big blow that I wasted those 4 years, and my mind tricked me like anything. So with this realization, I wrote an article. So there, I wrote about this, that when a student is studying, the mind will trick, the mind will say, "Arey, you have lot of time. This bhakti shakti and all, keep it aside." And parents are also there, they keep telling all this nonsense. See, keep it aside. Do it later. Now your first priority is what? Your first priority is studying. Study now. Chant later. And now the studies are over. The person is asking the mind, now is the right time for chanting? Now is the right time for taking up devotional service seriously? And the mind says, get a job. Hurry. Be responsible, get a job, and then see, once you get a job, you'll get money. Once you get money, you'll be satisfied, and then you have a lot of time. With a satisfied heart, you can chant. And the person slogs like anything, gets a job. And then he's asking the mind, hey mind, tell me, is it the right time now to start chanting? And the mind says, hey, come on. You're single, Baba, ready to mingle, get married first, then we will see. See, after marriage, life will be fully settled. Now, whatever work you're doing, washing clothes and this and that, your wife will do, then you'll have a lot of time, then you can do it. And the person gets married. Now, after marriage, he's not asking his mind at all, no, can I chant or not? He knows there's no time only now. And then still, one day he consults the mind, can I take up now devotional service seriously? He's like, hey, you're married, you don't have kids, first beget a kid and then we will see. And then he begot the kid, and then after that the mind is saying that, arey, send him to school, make him a big person. In a society, he should have a name, because if he gets the name, you'll also get a name. That, he's the father. So finish off all this and then you can chant. Now his son has become grown up, and now the grown up son, or daughter, whatever. So now he's studying or things like that, and pretty good. But then now the mind says, arey, what sort of father you are? Let your child get settled first, and then you chant. The devotional service is there. So much of time is there for that. And then the person, he again keeps chanting in the back, and then again takes care of the children. And now the children are settled, and now he's asking, now is the right time? See, my children are settled now, they are earning. Hey, get them married. And now he's busy in that. And then after their marriage, they have grandchildren. They have children, and the mind is saying, who will play with the grandchildren if you sit and chant? Who will play? Go. And he goes. And now, even at the time of death, the person is asking the question to mind, is it the right time? And the mind says, no, we have a lot of time. And when he's taking the last breath, he's asking the question, mind, where are you? And at that time, the mind is silent, and the person leaves the last breath. I'm sure each and every one of us, without an exception, we will go through the same phase of life if we listen to our mind. Our mind will just keep telling, baad mein karo, later. And we will listen to the mind, and then done. So one thing is very important. We shouldn't get tricked because of our mind. We should make sure that whenever we are practicing bhakti, we don't listen to our mind. What is told to us, we just execute that. Now our spiritual master, our guide is telling us that chant. Everyone should chant every day, at least one round. So we have to do it. Every day you have to read Bhagavad-Gita verse and watch that shloka a day. We have to do it. Simple. And every Sunday evening, attending the session of Gita course, we have to do it. There's no question of option there. Sometimes during the session time only the mind will tell, oh, go for shopping. Go to relatives' house. Why during the session only? Full day was there, no? Why only evening time, only in this slot we have to go and do? Please understand how the mind tricks. Mind will not allow us to progress on the path of bhakti. Never. Because our mind wants to do sense gratification. It does not want to liberate us. It wants to make sure that we are bound in this material world forever. So in this way, our mind is working. So this, we have to understand very, very clearly. Because if we don't understand this clearly, then it's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. We'll not be able to comprehend after some time what happened in my life. Why did I waste so much of time? At least till now, I regret those 4 years of my student life. I could have done so many things in spiritual life, so many things. But somehow, what to do? I was a victim of mind. So I postponed. But finally, by Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy, there was some realization and we became serious after some time. So now here, let's go to the next slide and try to understand more deeply about the mind. Now see what is happening. Where are these desires? Where is this lust sitting? The lust is sitting in the senses, mind and intelligence. Now these, we'll talk more on the mind aspect here. So the lust, the desire which is there sitting on the mind. So mind does this thinking, feeling and willing. So we have to make sure that if we want to get rid of our mind, if we want to control the mind, this thinking, feeling and willing has to be applied in Krishna consciousness and devotional service. Let's talk about the other two also, the senses and intelligence. Now the senses, mind and intelligence, this desire will act. So if that senses are engaged in service of the Lord, like for example, the eyes have to be engaged in seeing the form of the Lord. Ears have to be engaged in hearing about the Lord, His teachings. The mouth, the tongue especially, has to be engaged in tasting Krishna Prasadam and chanting Hare Krishna. Our hands, legs, everything should be engaged in service of the Lord. Now just imagine if this we can do, senses will be under control. Mind, if it is applied nicely in thinking about the Lord and various other meditations about the pastime, form, qualities of the Supreme Personality of God and Lord Sri Krishna, mind will be engaged. Intelligence, when we read Shastra, now our intelligence is engaged. I'm sure now in this discourse, your intelligence is fully engaged and trying to analyze whatever I'm saying. So in this way, the mind, intelligence and senses, mind and intelligence, they'll be engaged very nicely in service of the Lord and they'll get purified. See, please understand. Now there are a lot of samskaras on the mind. The mind is picked up from various places. And what are we talking about? Controlling the mind. How can we control the mind? Because it has already picked up from various places. So we need to purify that now. And how can we purify? By engaging the mind in service of Krishna, by engaging the senses in service of Krishna, by engaging the intelligence in service of Krishna. And the topmost thing in the devotional service is chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when we chant every single day properly, I'm sure all of you have started chanting. If you have not started chanting, it's too late. We have to take up. It's already 6th session, part 2. So every day, at least one round has to be chanted. I'm talking about this year's Gita course students, not last year's. This year's Gita course students, at least one round you should have started till now. If you have not, please start. And you have to chant on beats, not mentally or whatever. You have to chant on beats the way the procedure is told. If you don't have beats, go to that website which I told, gogita.in. You can order from ISKCON Whitefield, it will be delivered. So it's very, very important to chant on beats, fixed number of rounds, at least one to start with. Or else, we'll not be able to purify the mind, we'll never be able to control the mind in this entire lifetime. Because the mind will always remain contaminated, always dominate the intelligence, and we'll get suffered. We'll suffer like anything. And this is the point that I'm trying to make. Now here, in this particular shloka, it was clear. So the lust is sitting in the mind, senses, and intelligence. Now see, the mind also works in this way. Bhoga and Tyaga. So likes and dislike is there, and mind will also work in this Bhoga and Tyaga. Sometimes the mind goes on and on and on. Maybe I've just given one example of eating. So mind goes on and on and on, and it gets tired, and then it says, "Arey nahi, abhi aur nahi." I'm sure all of us might have faced this. So mind works in these two ways. That is likes and dislikes and Bhoga and Tyaga mentality. And since the intelligence is covered now, contaminated, it is not sharp, so it cannot actually tell the mind what the mind is supposed to do. This is the problem. This is the problem that we are stuck in. Now, what is the solution? Let's try to see the solution now. I'll take your questions at the end. Please keep your questions at the end. Okay, how to control the mind? Tell the mind strongly that you are not the master. Very, 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 very important. Now, how to do this? This is what is a discussion, a very important discussion. First, give the mind a positive engagement in devotional service. Like, for example, now today, you have heard so many things. So before sleeping, mentally, revise whatever is thought, whatever we have heard today. Now say tomorrow you start your day with chanting, and then you say you're reading a Bhagavad-Gita shloka. So try to remember that shloka. What were the points in that shloka? Okay, you implement, don't implement, that's different. That's a different thing. That I'm not talking about. I'm talking about engaging the mind. So we have to think about the shloka, about what we have heard. Or mentally, when you're doing some activity, many people are there, mentally we can chant. Mentally chanting, when a lot of people are there in the crowd, you're on bus or whatever, that's okay. But when we are there, when we are doing our rounds on the beats, it has to be loud enough so that we can hear. And then suppose we have heard some Krishna Lila, some pastime of the Lord, we can meditate on that. The Damodar pastime that we heard, how Krishna, he broke the pot, he ran to another room, and there he was distributing the butter to the monkeys, and then Mother Yashoda came and he jumped and he ran. Mother Yashoda is running, Krishna is running, that part. So mentally we can think. Now what is happening here? We're thinking mentally about Krishna conscious activities and Krishna conscious aspects. Our mind will get purified. So this is the positive engagement that we have to give. Like a small child. The small child is doing a lot of masti. The parents will give positive engagement. Obviously nowadays they're giving a negative engagement of mobile. The child is sitting and playing games. But I'm talking about some positive engagement where the child also grows. So this is positive engagement. Second is we have to chastise the mind. Now, say today I've told very clearly that everyone has to chant at least one round. Mind will say no. We have to chastise the mind. No, it is told I have to do it. Getting up early in the morning, the mind will say no, but we have to force and we have to get up. So initially, to imbibe these good teachings, we have to force ourselves, and then it will become our second nature. So in the public, and I'm confessing that during my college days, especially 11th and 12th standard, all that time, I would sleep and get up at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock and all. And then when I came to Krishna consciousness, then I heard, we have to get up early in the morning. So now my early in the morning used to be 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, during engineering college days, initial time of my Krishna conscious days. So whenever I used to get up early in the morning, I would be a bit weird. So my friends would ask, whenever I'm speaking something weirdly, did you get up early in the morning today? But now, after spending some time, so now getting up is very easy. Getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, even after sleeping at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, it's not that great. So it becomes simple. So the point is that initially we have to force. Initially we have to force, chastise the mind. No, I will do it. And we do it. Because the mind has become the master. So somehow the mind has to be engaged and mind has to be chastised. These two things has to be done. This is the first thing that we can do for controlling the mind. There's a nice quote here from a nice person. He says, our scientific power has outrun our spiritual power. We have guided missiles and misguided men. So this is what is there. This is what is there. What can be done? So somehow, since the mind has taken over, There's so many things that the mind will keep telling us. There's so much of cutthroat competition that is going on. Run, 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 run. So we're in a rat race, all of us, especially the ones who are working in corporate. So much of rat race is going on. So the mind is inducing the person. And the real knowledge is not given in our education system. Right? Last time we discussed what is real knowledge. Real knowledge is character and sense control. Now these two things are not spoken only anywhere. Characterless movies are coming and people see that. And then, to control the senses, you should be in a good setup. And then all around us, the advertisements and billboards and posters and various other things which are there, talks of people, all that talk about how to not control the senses. Someone was telling me that some upstart guru, he has told that don't control your mind. Whatever mind says, just do it. Because if you do it, then the mind will become satisfied. Arey Baba, read Bhagavad-Gita. How the mind will become satisfied? If you do what the mind says, the mind will never become satisfied, because it is like, on and on and on. One gets fulfilled, another will come, then another, then another. One day will die. Will not be able to control the mind at all. So all these bogus things, nowadays there are so many bogus gurus around, especially on YouTube. So many videos will keep coming, and there, if you properly analyze, they will not speak the truth. No, what they will speak, whatever people want. If principles are there, strict principles, they'll say that theek hai, nahi kiya to bhi chalega. Don't trouble your mind so much. Do whatever your mind is saying. Now, already people are under control of mind. When they hear all this, they'll be like, oh, this is a very nice solution. And when they attend the sessions like ours, where nice beatings are given left, right, center, from Bhagavad Gita, they'll not be able to digest it all. They'll say, no, that person's teaching is good. Here, no, it's too strict, Baba, I cannot do all this. So in this way, it's really very difficult, that proper things are not taught. And when proper things are there, our mind will not allow. So we need to understand what is important. Mind control is important, or else it's very difficult. Now, regulation is pretty important, because when we say that you have to engage the mind, in a positive engagement, so we have to regulate various things. Now, there are some activities which are termed as good, some activities are termed as bad. So we have to avoid those bad activities, and we have to do those good activities, like chanting, reading, hearing, all that. Now, a person might say, Prabhuji, I'll do both. So maybe it will nullify. I'll do some sin, and at the same time I'll do chanting, it will nullify. It doesn't happen like that. Like, it's like a wood is there, and you are trying to light a wood with fire, and you do that, and immediately you pour water. Again, you do that again, immediately you pour water. Even if the person slogs the entire life, he'll never be able to put the wood on fire. Why? He's lighting, putting water. Lighting, putting water. This is what happens. So when you're practicing spirituality, especially the path of Bhakti Yoga, we have to make sure that we understand what is good activities and what are bad activities. Just take up the good and avoid the bad completely. As much as possible initially and completely later on. So in this way, now we'll be able to help our mind to regulate very nicely. Now, so let's get into more important topics. Here it is given a very, now we're getting into the lifestyle aspect, because the session is regulate the lifestyle, management and mind control. So from Bhagavad Gita, let's try to understand about the lifestyle. Till now we have understood about the mind and mind control. Now let's try to get into this lifestyle. So here it is said, this shloka where it talks about if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough, a person cannot become a yogi. Yogi means a person who is controlled. And there's a nice shloka, please repeat after me. Yuktaharasya yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. So here it is said that eating, sleeping, recreation, and work. All of that should be regulated. We cannot get carried away. We cannot get carried away. See, we said we have to give a positive engagement to the mind, we have to chastise the mind, and at the same time, we have to regulate our lifestyle. Because our lifestyle, if it is properly regulated, it will help us to control our mind. Now, if the person is not regulated, like for example, sleeping, say the person is sleeping too much, he'll become lazy. The person sleeps very too little, the person will become crazy. So lazy, crazy, in that the person will be. So proper sleep is needed, around 6 to 7 hours of sleep. More than 6 to 7 hours, it's not needed, according to Shastra. Especially Prabhupada makes it very clear in his commentaries. 6 to 7 hours of sleep is enough. More than that, the person becomes lazy. Less than that, it's difficult. The person might become crazy. They're sleeping. Eating, again, according to the Ayurveda, it's given that our stomach, it's there, it's divided into 4 blocks. So say 100% stomach is there, so 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. So now it is said that we have to fill the stomach 50%. So the below 2 blocks have to be filled with food. And the another 25% should be filled with water. And 125% should be left empty for air. Now, how to understand, am I eating too much or am I eating too little? So too much is very easy. Too little is easy. We'll feel hungry. Too much is very easy to understand. We have filled the stomach so much that the gas which is there, is supposed to be there, the air, that's coming out and burps come. So in this way, Vedic scriptures talk very clearly how to lead a lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, a holistic lifestyle. So here, it's spoken about. Now, work and recreation. Now, work, I don't know if I can comment on work. Yes. So somehow it has become Ugra Karma now in all the corporate, this one. Just it goes on and on and on and on. It doesn't end only. So that also has to be regulated. There are many great personalities, experienced ones who have written many quotes on how much the person should work and things like that. So anyways, that you people can decide. So you people know it better. So you people can decide about the work. Recreation. See, the proper recreation should be chosen. This watching movies and all this nonsense that is there, it's like just waste of time. Some fiction, and then we sit there and watch, get all the nonsense on the mind, some other samskara, then the mind goes uncontrolled after that. So good recreation, we can have these discourses as a recreation. We can have kirtan at home, where family can come together and do kirtan, read Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavatam, go for trips, to various dham, like Vrindavan, Dwarka, and Pandharpur, or various places which are there. So recreation is very important. Nowadays, recreation is whatever, YouTube videos and WhatsApp or whatever. And so many hours goes in that. So many hours. In fact, the precious life span is spent in all these things. So we have to be a bit careful regarding eating, sleeping, work, and recreation. This is what Bhagavad Gita says. All these 4 have to be regulated. Regulation is needed. Without regulation, it will be very difficult. We'll just get carried away with things. So if we maintain a proper lifestyle like this, like waking up early in the morning in Brahma Muhurta, chanting our rounds, because once we properly chant our rounds, we'll get a lot of clarity for the entire day. If that is not happening, if chanting is not happening early in the morning, it's very difficult. At least I have experienced myself. If the chanting is not happening properly in the day, in the early morning, then the entire day just goes like that. But if chanting happens very nicely with focus, then entire day is so blissful. So much of clarity is there in the entire day. Right? So this is the shloka which talks about the lifestyle. And here, if someone says that, Prabhuji, it's very difficult to practice devotional service, to regulate our lifestyle. So here, Krishna gives 2 very important things. These are 2 important words. Anyways, I'll chant the entire shloka. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Asamshayam Mahabaho Manodur Nigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyena Chagrihet. So here it is said that lifestyle can be regulated. Mind can be controlled by doing 2 things. One is practice, that is abhyasa, And second is vairagya, that is detachment. Let's try to discuss on this topic. We are towards the end of the session now. So now you see this point that we have to practice and we have to be detached. Practice what? Practice those good things which we have learned. Practice the devotional service and get detached from what? Get detached from whatever we have learned from before. Many things we have learned. Now is the time to unlearn and learn new things. So that's the attachment and detachment. Now someone might say that, oh, no, we are doing so because no, it's not that it's simple but not easy. So the person might say, Prabhuji, so much of endeavor we are putting. Suppose, what if we don't become successful? No problem. In devotional service, there is no loss. Second chapter, Bhagavad-Gita, shloka number 40. Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. Anyone who practices even little devotional service, it will never be lost. It will be taken care, and it will be there always. The person never lost, never diminished. In material world, either we lose the things or it will keep reducing, and it will get over. But bhakti will never reduce, and bhakti will never be lost. It will always be carried to the next life, and we'll start from there. Like all of you, it's not the first time you're sitting in the Gita course class or something like that. If that was the case, then it would be very difficult for you to understand. If you're still there, even after almost 1.5 hours, even if you're there, it means you're understanding. You're able to resonate with what is spoken in Bhagavad Gita. So it means you have a good understanding of Bhagavad Gita. And it also goes on to say that this is not the first time that we are actually getting into this reading of Bhagavad Gita or chanting the holy names. We have done that in previously, but somehow we slipped. Again, we have started from the point where we have left. But now we cannot slip. Please understand, now we cannot slip. If we slip now again we have to start from where we have left. So it's a very important point. As devotees, we need to understand this. Now, when we're taking interest in spiritual life and we're practicing bhakti now, and we're feeling nice also, it means we have left it somewhere, from there we are starting. Because for a new person, he has to struggle a lot to get the understanding of Bhagavad Gita and so many things. And I've met such people where 10 times you explain the simple concept, they're not able to understand. They have their own stuff that is going on in them. Then we can understand that person is new in bhakti itself. But for ones who are understanding, the ones who are able to chant, ones who feel that, eager, that, I want to advance more and more and more, it means we are left somewhere in the past. From there we are continuing. So the point is, now we cannot slip. We have to regulate our lifestyle, and we have to make sure that we engage our mind in devotional service through chanting, reading, and hearing from bona fide sources, not from anywhere and everywhere. Yes. Now, what will happen if we control the mind? Here it's said very nicely. Sense control. What will happen? So here, Krishna makes it very clear that such a person becomes very dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. So basically, such a person becomes very magnetic personality. Nowadays, people have this concept of how to become attractive. Can you please tell us how to become attractive? External makeup will not remain for long. This external makeup, you put lipstick, you put this and that, and you look good. But then when wrinkles will start coming on the face, we will not be the same as before. But if we control the mind, and if we live a very sense-controlled life by doing devotional service, we'll become attractive internally, and that will remain permanent. And you see how spiritual practitioners, they're very attractive. Everyone naturally gets attracted to them. It feels very nice to talk to them, and then people become fans of these spiritual personalities. They want to talk to them, take guidance, and so many things. Why? Because internally they have been practicing the sense control through devotional service, and they are rendering whatever. So what happens? Naturally, they become very attractive. So if we really want to become magnetic, attractive, this is the solution: sense control. And sense control also includes the mind control through bhakti, not through anything else. So in this way, now we have covered about the mind control. We have covered about the lifestyle a bit. Lastly, I would just like to give a practical tip. Because I'm sure now everyone is thinking, okay, lifestyle I have to change. I have to change my sleeping time, eating and work and recreation. But then it doesn't happen just like that. Now, there's a nice concept. Now it's here. Okay, see. Okay, by the way, this is not the recipe of cooking a frog. This is a concept that I'm telling. So heating of the frog. This is a nice concept. So slowly and steadily. Okay, there is a negative part also of this particular analogy, but we are taking the positive part. Now, when you put the frog in the vessel and you start heating, you increase the temperature, the frog also starts getting acquainted with that temperature. You increase more, it starts getting acquainted. Slowly and steadily, it has to be increased. Similarly for us, the changes in our life has to be slow and steady. It cannot be drastic. So I've written here a few points. Don't do drastic changes in life. Like for example, if you're getting up at 9 a.m. and you say, no, I'll get up at 4 a.m. now. If you start doing that, okay, next Gita course you'll not be seen. Then you'll say, Arey, whatever this bald person said, it's all impractical. It has to go slow. If it's 9, maybe we can think of getting up at 8 and then we'll go to 7 and things like that. Constant practice. Constant practice has to be there. It cannot be like, upar niche. Constant. If you're doing one round, okay, do it for some time. Do it for a few weeks and then increase it to 2. And then, again, do it for a few weeks. And we should have a schedule. We should progress. Important is have a guide and read scriptures. When we have a guide, suppose we're going, in a different mode, different direction, the guide will tell, no, come back. This is not proper. So whenever in fact, we all should have a spiritual guide in our life. And we should share our heart with that person. And whenever we are stuck, since he knows us in and out, she knows us in and out, what will happen? They'll be able to guide us through Shastra, through Vedic scriptures. So we should have a guide, and at the same time, we should also read scriptures. Because initially, it's very important to analyze, is the guidance given properly or not through Vedic scriptures. So if you read the Vedic scriptures, you know very well, okay, he or she is speaking from Vedic scriptures. So this is the practical tip. Slow but steady change in our life will help us, but it shouldn't be too slow. So say one round you're chanting, okay, a few weeks you chant one round, increase it to 2. And then a few weeks you chant for 2 rounds and then increase. So like that, we have to come to a stage, where we are chanting good number of rounds, spending good amount of time practicing bhakti and trying to progress and advance on this wonderful path, the blissful path of devotional service. So with this, I would like to stop here and I will take some questions now. So I request all of you all that the session is obviously from 6 o'clock to 7:30, but now the topics which we have today's topic, the next session, and the next session also after that, those are very, very important topics. So we'll be spending some time. So be patient till 8 o'clock. Anyways, the Gita course will get over after a few sessions. So be patient and please be there till 8. So maybe around 7:50 or 7:45 we'll start chanting. And please be there for chanting also. Okay, let me take few questions and rest of the things I'll take on Wednesday. Please post your questions now. I'll take. Okay, how to find a spiritual guide? Anamika Mata is asking this question. How to find a spiritual guide? Firstly, understand the qualification of spiritual guide. Understand the need of spiritual guide and pray to Krishna. Krishna will send. Spiritual guide in my life who will help me to get closer to you. Krishna will send, surely. If you are a sincere person will enter in your life who can guide you. But don't do shopping. Oh, is this person my guide? Is that person my guide? He will come, or she will come. Krishna will send. Prabhuji, we are in a material world and are already assigned material duties. How can we just stop them or neglect them? No one is asking us to stop. Please understand. It's not about stopping the material duties. It's about regulating the material duties. sometimes the duties are not something which is given to us. Sometimes we are, we are taking up something called self-created duties. This is my duty, that is my duty. We need to understand what is my duty, what is my responsibility, execute that. But practice of spirituality shouldn't stop. It should go on and on and on. And with time, we will see that how more and more time we'll be able to dedicate for spirituality. So bhakti doesn't just talk about detachment. Bhakti talks about more about attachment to Krishna. So to focus more on that, attachment to Krishna. So we cannot neglect. Okay, if you're a bachelor, then you have two options. Yeah, bachelor boys, not girls. So bachelor boys, they have this option of becoming a monk or getting married. But when it comes to females, in Shastra it is given they have to get married and stay under the protection before marriage of the father, and then after marriage under the protection of the husband, and when the husband leaves, under the protection of the elder son. But when it comes to bachelor boys, yes, there are two options. One is you can become a monk, live your entire life as a monk, as a bachelor, or you get married. These are two options. Now, as a monk, you can just give up, your material responsibilities and take up a lot of spiritual responsibilities to help people to grow in spirituality. So that is recommended in Shastra. But when it comes to a person who is married, you cannot give up your material duties just like that, saying, no, now I'm chanting Hare Krishna, let the wife go to hell, let the kids go to hell, and I'll just do this. No, that's not allowed. We have to execute our duties in Grihastha in married life, and along with that, we have to practice bhakti. These are two tracks in the married life, and every person who is married should have both the tracks, or else the train will topple. So both the tracks have to be there. We cannot give up. So before marriage there is an option, after marriage there is no option. So you have to just go. Maybe at the age of 50, and after that, we can think of Vanaprastha, where husband and wife, they can go for Tirtha Yatra. And after 60, the person can think of sannyas. But before that, no, not allowed. Can chanting be done without taking bath? Yes. Yeah. So only thing is, suppose now you have passed stool, you cannot directly sit for chanting. So you have to take bath after that. So suppose previous day, you have taken bath and you have not gone to pass stool, then next day morning when you get up, just rinse your mouth, wash your hands and legs, and sit for chanting on beats. It's allowed, not a problem. So chanting can be done. If you get up in the morning, you're in unclean state, not taken bath, no problem. You can wash your face, hands and mouth and legs, and you can start chanting. The females, when they have the 5 days when they cannot, or whatever days they follow in the month where they cannot do deity worship, even at that time you can chant on beats. So chanting need not be stopped even at that time, because chanting is very powerful. It doesn't see this impurity and all that. Just take bath and chant, right? So in this way, a person can chant in any situation. Why we feel sleepy while chanting? Because we are not focusing on the holy name. Now, see, when we are doing an activity and in that we are not focusing on the holy name, and what are we doing? We are planning. Planning is going on, and so many other thoughts are coming. So because of those other thoughts, we actually go to sleep. But if we focus on the holy name very properly, then we'll be able to. So suppose if you're getting sleep, we better stand up and chant. We get up, stand straight and chant. If that is also, if standing also is sleeping, then maybe a short space we should choose and keep walking to and fro in that short space. Not that we go for a long walk and scenery we're seeing and chanting. No, short space, to and fro. So these three, we can do. But sleepy is because of this only. We are thinking about so many other things. How many times is good amount of chanting? Initially start with 108. One round of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. One round. That beads which are 108, one round. Is it wrong when I yawn during chanting Maha Mantra? How can you stop yawning? If it's coming, then no problem. Again, resume chanting. It's not wrong. It's natural. But it's not correct to not focus on the holy name. We should try to focus. If Atma is Nirgun, how it can control intelligence and mind? Okay, if the Atma is Nirgun, how it can control intelligence and mind? See, in Bhakti Yoga, we don't expect ourselves to control the intelligence and mind. So see, again and again, what is the solution that we gave? That engage these intelligence and mind and sense in service of Krishna. So who will control our mind? We are not going to control. Krishna is going to control. In a nice song, it is said, bhajan, It is saying, it is said, Tum hi Rishikesha Rishikadamiya. So it is said, you are Rishikesha. A devotee is telling the Lord, you are Rishikesha, you are controller of senses. Please control my senses. So in Bhakti Yoga, we don't control senses. The Lord will control our senses. And what are we supposed to do? Engage our senses, mind, and intelligence in service of the Lord. See, this is the best thing about Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, we have to endeavor to control. Here, just engage in service of the Lord. Lord will do the needful. Hope this helps you. Where is the mind located in our body? See, subtle body, is mind, intelligence, false ego makes up the subtle body. That's there throughout the body. It's subtle. So it is there throughout the body. We cannot say it is here, it is there. For just general talk and all, we say mind. Like this we point. But then it's throughout. How do I know he, she is the correct one? Oh, okay, this is regarding the spiritual guide. Because now you have understood about the qualification of the guru. Now we had a full class on that. The person should be in the parampara, he should be compassionate, and he should be this, he should be that. We have discussed so many things. So yes, those parameters are there, you'll be able to understand. I answered this without taking bath chanting. Please take earlier. Oh, if I go back, no, it will be difficult. Please post that question again. You go back to the chat and please post the questions again. I'll miss somehow. How to differentiate between spirituality and science? Like many things which are right according to scriptures are found right in science. For example, eating not veg. Not offense, just wanted to understand. Eating non-veg, are you talking about non-veg? So what is that? Like many things which are right according to scriptures are found right in science. I think I mean to say the things which are found wrong in the scriptures are found right in science, and an example is eating non-veg. Okay. So if you go deeper and analyze more about science, you'll see eating non-veg, it creates so many problems. Our body is not meant to digest non-vegetarian food. By the way, a decade back I was a non-vegetarian. So our body is not designed for that. There are many things we can go on. I can explain scientifically also. Like for example, for being a non-vegetarian, like the carnivorous animals, we need to have sharp canine teeth, straight and sharp. But our canine teeth are blunt and slant, so they are not meant for non-vegetarian food. This is for the cats and the other animals which are having the canine teeth. And if you see the carnivorous animals, their stomach is long, like lion, tiger, cats, etc. Long. And the herbivorous animals, their stomach is round, like cow and so many others. So our stomach is also round. Please understand, our stomach is also round. So many such things are there. I'll not get into that. Too many things are there, which I did a lot of research on this before. So now here, see, one thing we have to understand is that now the body which is there, it is meant in a particular way, and to live a very holistic life or lead a very healthy life, scriptures are giving us what to do and what not to do. Mind will tell various things, eat this, eat that, and the advertisements of various things which are given looks very tasty and all that. That's okay. But what is Shastra talking about? That we need to understand. And what is science? We speak so much about science. Let's discuss about this now. What is science? Science, I'll give a simple definition of science. Science is study of existing things. Science does not create anything new. It's just study of existing things. But that study is already given in our Vedic scriptures. And we are seeing with time, science is verifying, little by little, it is verifying the Vedic scriptures. There are so many things which were contradictory. And then now when the equipments and those things are found, now they are able to resonate with what the Vedic scriptures are saying. So our Vedic scriptures are perfect. Perfect. It was valid in the past, it is valid now, it will be valid in the future also. Because it is given by Krishna himself, our eternal Father. So there's no question of doubt here. Science can go wrong, but our Vedic scriptures cannot go wrong. This is the fact. This is the fact. Being a science student, being a person having a qualification of being a VLSI engineer or whatever, so I'm speaking that. Now, after verification, now I've done a good research on this and I've verified various things. Now, before I make the statement, I can say this. So science is just a study of existing things, Still, equipments are not very much clear to understand various different aspects of our life. But Vedic scriptures given by the Lord, it's very clear, especially Bhagavad Gita. It's a proper life manual for all of us. So we have to just follow what is told in our Vedic scriptures. Need not think so much about should I do this, should I do that. Just follow what is given. That's what I would say. Can we change the sanskar of a child in the womb? Yeah, obviously. We can. This is a very important thing. In fact, I've spoken so many times in the past about how a pregnant lady should be. So all the time, the pregnant lady should be chanting. She should be hearing about Krishna. Gossip, etc., zero. Watching movies at that time, zero. Because if you hear some other songs, child will be born like that. In fact, last year I gave this example. So one of my students here in nearby, so he has a house, multiple story, and one of the floor, some lady was staying who was pregnant, and full day she would hear metallic song. Now after that, when the child was born, whenever the child would cry, any song that is played, the child would not stop crying. Only when the metallic music is played, the child would stop crying. And we have seen the other way around also. The devotee parents who have proper samskara is given to the child in the womb by doing kirtan, bhajan and all that, reading only about Krishna, and living a very, very devotional life during that 9 months. We have seen when the child takes birth and when the child cries and when everyone chants Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, child stops crying. It stops crying. So we can actually program, we can actually give the samskar right in the womb. But austerity is there. We have to have only prasadam at that time, no watching of the movies, no gossip at all, no reading from Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavatam, and doing Vaishnav Seva, and all these things, having kirtan, inviting devotees home and doing kirtan. If someone can do all this, their child will be like next level. Right from the womb only, he will be a devotee. Right. That's how Prahlad became a devotee, by Narad Muni's mercy. How to keep the count of number of rounds? Okay, so where is my bead? Okay, it's not here. In the bag it might be. So we have a bead bag and we have something called a Sakshi Mala. So we have 16 beads in that. So you finish one round and then you pull that small bead down. It will be out. It will be out. So next time I can show if my bead bag is not here now. So just pull that. So like that you count, do 16 rounds. If Atma is Nirgun, how it can, I think I answered this, right? Chanting or merit. And Nirgun, this word Nirgun, it has got a deep meaning. It is not without gunas. Nirgun means not having material qualities. It has got spiritual qualities. Please understand that. I'll not enter the topic, it's very deep. Nirgun. Chanting or meditation, which one is preferable? Please give me clarification. What is meditation? That we need to understand. Now in Kali Yuga, we cannot do meditation. That was for Satyuga. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. We have to do dhyana. That was in Kali Yuga. Now it's only Kalau Taddhari Kirtanat. We have to do kirtan of the Lord Sri Krishna's holy names. So chanting is preferable. Chanting is the only thing that will work in Kali Yuga. Meditation and all, for that time you might feel a bit of peace, but after that, it's all havoc. So chanting will purify the mind. See, understand the science, right? Meditation, what will happen? You're just sitting. Tell me how the mind will get, how the samskaras in the mind get cleaned. Tell me. You're sitting, you're just closing your eyes and not thinking anything. In this, what is happening? New samskaras are not getting made. New impressions not getting made. But what about the old impressions? Who will clean that? So when we are chanting, firstly, the new samskaras will not be made because we are chanting the holy name. And the holy name will have new, good devotional impressions. It will also clean our mind from the previous impressions. So this way, chanting is the only thing that will work. Nothing else will work in the age of Kali Yuga. If everyone controls desires, how the economy grow, don't worry. Now, today 150 people attended my session. Everyone will not control the senses. You don't worry about the economy. Now, this Maya Shakti, the illusory potency, she is very strong. She is very strong. But I'm sure, all the ones who attended the session, if you endeavor, you'll be able to. But 150 people out of the billions of population, I don't think it matters. It's just not even a drop in the ocean. It's a particle in the drop of the ocean. Yes. So don't worry about the economy. It will grow. Why changing of all the names of God is not having the same value? Why only Hare Krishna, Hare Ram is recommended by you? No, I am not recommending. No, this we didn't discuss that shloka. Let's discuss this. So this is the shloka from Kali Santrana Upanishad. It is said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Iti Shodashakam Nam Kali Kalmashanashanam Nata Parataropyaya Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. So after searching all the Vedas, this magical mantra is found, which is made up of 16 names and 32 syllables. And it has got the power to counteract the evil effects of Kali Yuga. See, whatever we have in these sessions, it is from Vedic scriptures. I can give you references. So I'm not telling to chant, it is the Vedic scripture that is telling. Okay, somehow I missed it. So I don't know where I missed that. Okay. How would I know that I'm chanting attentively? If your mind is not getting any other thought apart from hearing, then hearing the holy name, yes, it will be. Then you can say that you have chanted with focus. I want to know more about Krishna. Please guide me. Presently, I'm pregnant. I feel like it is good for the baby. So please contact your mentor, the one who is calling you for inviting for the session. They can send you some lectures which we had given previously. And also there are audiobooks of Krishna book that you can get it. So you can play that and keep hearing the entire pastime of Krishna. Practical tip to get up early. Firstly, try to sleep early. Dinner should be light. Then it's pretty simple to get up. And apart from this, that's it. And have a sincere desire to get up. So that will help. What is the reason behind 16 rounds? No, Prabhupada told us to chant 16 rounds. Actually, it was 64 rounds. But looking at our situation, Prabhupada said, okay, no problem, do 16. So since Acharya is told, it is having a lot of power, lot of importance. Okay, it's 7:52. No, I think we should stop here. We can take the questions next time, not a problem. So I request all of you all that please take up chanting very sincerely and seriously, because the mind control doesn't happen. If we don't engage our mind in service of Krishna, it will be very difficult. We'll face a lot of problems. Maybe now we'll not understand, future surely, at least at the time of death. Okay, forget about death. In the old age, it will start understanding that how the mind will trick. Old people are so cranky. Why? Mind is not under control. So if we are at least chanting from now onwards, in our old age at least we'll be peaceful. And at the time of death, we'll go back home, back to Godhead. So I request all of you all that now let's start chanting. So please switch on your videos and Okay, everyone ready? So we'll start chanting. Please sit in a meditative posture. Please close your eyes. Please repeat after me. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So all of us together, we can chant 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now all of us in sync with the audio will start chanting. So I request all of you all that please focus on the holy name. It's just a matter of 10 minutes. Don't think about anything else now. Just resonate with the holy name and just focus on the holy name. Any thought comes in between, remember, mind is distracting you. So that time, again, get back the mind on the holy name. Just hear the holy name. So I'll just share the screen. Just a minute. Keep your eyes closed. Here we go.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare.
Keep your eyes closed. Let us all chant the Maha Mantra together 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let us all offer prayers at the lotus feet of Krishna. O Krishna, I have started practicing devotional service. I want to engage my mind in your service. But then please help me, please inspire me, and please give me the determination and strength within so that I'll be able to engage my mind in your service. Please help me, O Krishna, to continue this wonderful path of devotional service and attain you as soon as possible. I request all of you all, please open your eyes. So thank you all very much. I hope I didn't bore you all for 2 hours. We started around 6:10 and we completed now at 8:07. So almost 2 hours, and I hope it was helpful. So if it was helpful, then please follow what is told, that please chant every day, at least 1 round. So next Sunday, we'll not be having the class because we'll be there in Pandharpur at that time. So entire team, the entire organizing team will be in Pandharpur. So we are having a nice 3-day yatra there. So once we come back in December first week, again we'll have the session, we'll start. So now approximately we have got some 4 to 5 sessions, and we'll be ending our Gita course. So all the ones who want certificate after this course, so please make sure your attendance is there, and also you attempt the quizzes. And if you have not attended any session, then you can go back, watch the session on YouTube, make notes and send it to your volunteer. Then your attendance will be considered. So please do this activity, and then it will be our pleasure to award you the certificate at the end of the course. So thank you very much. Please be Krishna conscious. Please start chanting if you have not started chanting. So we'll pray for all of you all in Pandharpur to Lord Vitthal, who is Krishna himself, that all of you progress very nicely on this wonderful path of devotional service. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,